Hello everyone, welcome to Create Engaging Resources with ThingLink EDU and Google Apps. My name is Susan Oxnavad and I'll be your host for this webinar. I'd like to start with a brief introduction. I'm the ThingLink Education Community Manager as well as an instructional tech and data coach in a small school district outside of Chicago. I started my teaching career nearly 30 years ago in a classroom that had no computer, no internet, and no technology. At that time, I couldn't imagine what was coming with the introduction of technology. And I've had a really great time over the course of my career learning how to embrace technology and use it as a truly useful tool for teaching and learning. I started blogging about efficient and effective ways to leverage the power of tech for learning on my blog called Cool Tools for 21st Century Learners, and that's where my relationship with ThingLink began. I've enjoyed watching ThingLink grow from a basic tool to a truly powerful platform for educators to help them transform teaching and learning in their classroom. So the ideas I'm going to share here tonight are driven by my passion for sharing efficient and effective ways to leverage the power of tech for learning, and they're also driven by my passion for using ThingLink. And now I even blog on the ThingLink blog. So for tonight's webinar, we're going to cover a lot of information. I'd like you to know that this webinar, this is an interactive slideshow. Now at ThingLink we call this a channel. It's really just a bunch of interactive images that have been put together into this channel very easily with a click of a button, and they turn into an interactive slideshow. I want you to know that you can access this interactive slideshow right here. So don't worry, you'll be able to explore it later on if I go a little too fast, or if you discover an idea that you really want to dig deeper into. So the topics for the webinar tonight are, first we'll start with an introduction, what is ThingLink? Then I'll share an example with you how to power up a project with ThingLink and Google Apps. Then I'll demonstrate how to embed a Google Doc in a ThingLink image. And after that, I'll share an example of using Google add-ons to create a really powerful map project easily. And then I'll demo how to embed a Google Doc in a ThingLink video. And finally, at the end, we'll talk about the different types of ThingLink accounts for students, teachers, and schools and districts. So let's get started with a brief introduction to ThingLink and some of the features. So ThingLink is a really powerful tool. It provides teachers with flexible options for teaching and learning, and it's useful across all content areas and grade levels because every ThingLink starts with an image or a video like you see here. So you can upload your image to ThingLink and then you'll add little tags known as icons that are pictured here. And these tags are very powerful. Here you can see that when I click on this tag, I get a video right on the screen. And the most amazing thing is that you can play that video right there. When you play the video, you can also access the pause button, which is really useful for students when they're learning. So the video will play, and then you just go ahead and click on the pause button to get it to stop. Now I do think embedding a video is really one of the most powerful things you can do with ThingLink. There are many more things that you can link with a rich media tag. So currently ThingLink has over 50 rich media tags. And any of the tools you see listed here can be easily embedded right on top of a ThingLink image to help you tell deeper stories or explain more about an image or a video. Here's an example of a video. And as I just showed you, it plays and it's live right on the page. Then you can also embed audio, and all of these companies will work so that you just grab the link, pop it into ThingLink, and you'll get live audio on the page like this one. Now you can play the audio, but for the purposes of this webinar, I'm not sure you're going to hear it because I'm stealing the sound right now, but I'll just try. So that's just an example of audio. I'm not sure if you could hear it or not, but I could hear it through my headphones. So it really does play on the page. Now you can also add images on top of images, and that's pretty powerful as well. You can use any of these services, any of these third-party tools, and you can also embed an image just by uploading it on the ThingLink with the ThingLink tag. And that only works with our premium account, but it's a very powerful thing. Now, I always have students, when they put an image on top of an image, I have them write something down below as well to explain the image. ThingLink is also works with social media. So you can quickly add a tag to your Facebook page or your Twitter account to help these ThingLink images fly across the web and be shared. That's a really nice thing because I think that we're all working together and there's really no need to reinvent the wheel. If somebody creates a great ThingLink, they can quickly share it to Twitter and it can fly across the web, and other people can use those ideas. They can actually use the image, and they can also remix it and change some of the content to personalize it. I'll be demonstrating that in a little while. What's really nice also is that we have a Facebook app. And so if you click on this button through the share button, when you put a ThingLink on your Facebook page, it looks like a video, and that's all you do is you press play and then the live ThingLink appears right on Facebook. So that's pretty powerful. You can also, rich media tags are available for some e-commerce stores. And the best part, I think, are the utilities here, and that's what we're focusing on in this webinar. All of these utilities will show embedded media as well, and you can see all the Google tools are here. This is just an example of a Google form and a preview of what's coming. A Google form just displays right live on the page. So that's all I have to do is type into it if I'm a student. In this case, I'm assessing vocabulary. And then I can go ahead and submit it, and the teacher will get the information in a spreadsheet. So that's really nice for the teacher, allows the teacher to collect feedback and actually monitor the effectiveness of the lesson. There are a lot of powerful things we can do with Google Docs. That's why you're here tonight, I know, so I'll be showing you more of those in just a minute. Now, ThingLink is all about icons. So you do start with an image, and then you add an icon that's going to lead to the tag. And in the free premium account, you get these 5 colors and these 5 letters here. And that's actually, there are a lot of possibilities there, because when I started with ThingLink, there was only this black icon, and I embraced it right away, and I was able to do wonderful things. But when they added the colors, I got really excited because I knew right away that would allow me to differentiate. So this is just a snapshot of an old ThingLink I created right away when they introduced the colored icons. And you can see it was made in 2012, and it's about the Electoral College. I wanted to make a ThingLink that could be used across grade levels, because then I was a traveling technology coach, and so I went from school to school to school, and I had kids from 3rd grade to 8th grade. And I wanted to create this one resource, and I wanted everybody to find something useful. So the only thing I did before I popped the image into ThingLink, I put it into PowerPoint, I believe, and I made this little key at the bottom so that kids would know that the green tags were things that were for beginners, so my little learners could use those, or my struggling middle school students. And then the red was advanced. This really helped them self-select the resources that worked for them. And I have to tell you, it was a really popular resource and across all of those different grade levels. So I think it was really great to use these to differentiate. But since then, we've introduced ThingLink for Education, and with that comes with our premium account comes some great icons that are really useful for education. So here you can see a picture of some of the icons that we have. I can do a whole lot with these icons. And then you can also create your own custom icons. And here are some pictures of the icons that I've made. I can tell you that the icons are easy enough for my 3rd graders to actually make them all the time. So it's not that much extra work to make an icon, but you can probably find what you need in our selection of premium icons. Now, this is the first ThingLink that I ever created. It's been rebuilt, I must tell you, because when I started again, there was just that one black circle. But this is just an example of how the icons can really add an extra dimension to the project. Students can look at this project and they can self-select their resources that are going to work for them. So in this case, I have a lot here, but I wanted everybody to watch a video, and so here's the video of the first rocket launch. I thought that was a resource for everybody just to provide them with a little background knowledge in case they weren't sitting in the audience like I was when the first rocket launch went up. So then I also use these little number icons here to guide the learning. I wanted them to take a path here on this image. And I have different things like sound, and you can see here's some sound that I found from in the public domain. It's a sound from NASA, and again, I don't think you can hear, but I'll go ahead and play it. So the eagle has landed. And you'll notice that I put attribution here as well because I think it's always really important to credit our sources and to teach kids to be good digital citizens. And that's all you do is copy and paste it in here, so it couldn't be easier. Down here, this is really an interesting thing that I've been doing with differentiation, and I have reading content at 3 different levels. Now, when I added this part, it was called easy, middle, and advanced, and you'll see later on that the terms have changed, but they still mean the same thing. So kids could self-select their reading resources based on their reading level and their prior knowledge. And they could also, of course, start with the easy and then go all the way to the advanced. But I really wanted all students to do some reading about these 3 astronauts. Now, the great thing about this for non-readers is, of course, when you go out to this Wikipedia Simple English article, you can enable text-to-speech, or on an iPhone, you can enable the reading feature as well so that all of this can be read out loud. And it's easy enough for students to comprehend because it's very simple text. And over here, I do have a mouse icon that I created myself, and this symbolizes that it's a game. I thought that was important too, to match just all of the learning styles. This one is not a rich media tag. It's just a link. You can link to anything on the web, and the only difference is that it doesn't pop right up on the page. You just have to click, and you can open it in a new tab. So students can still get back to this ThingLink, but they can also play the game. So I think that these Edu Premium icons really do allow teachers to design learning experiences that tell deeper stories. Now, another feature that I really love about ThingLink, and this was not an original feature, this has been added since we added the education version of ThingLink, but you can now replace a background image. And what that means is that if I want to fix an image that I've created, I don't have to start all over again and add all the tags. I can just replace the image and fix the tags that need fixing. And this is a really good example. This is something that I created back, this was my first ThingLink, and this, not my first ThingLink, but my first popular ThingLink. It was very popular when I published it back in 2011, I believe. And it's a resource that I created for teachers. And remember I said there was only one black icon, and this was just all filled with black icons. These are flexible learning tools that teachers can use to differentiate in the classroom. And as you can see, there are a lot of resources here. Now, over time, since I made it such a long time ago, some of those companies have just vanished. In fact, all of the tools that I had under the Finding Information section are now, they no longer are in existence. So I've had to rebuild this image because I use it all the time. I teach with it all the time, and I also presented this at ISTE this year, and it's 4 years old already. So the way I've updated this resource is I used to have to build it again. I used to have to take my original image, create a new ThingLink, and then add all of these tags again. There are at least 30 tags on this page, and that would be a whole Saturday afternoon for me. I still did it because it was a useful resource. But then ThingLink introduced Replace Image. So what I can do now is I can update it in about 5 minutes. So recently, the last of my original Finding Information tools disappeared. So I decided I wanted to fill it with this KidRex search engine. So the only thing I had to do on my original image, I just used an eraser tool and I erased that old one and I pasted this one on, and then I uploaded and then I replaced the image. All of these tags were still here, and the only thing I have to do then is edit it and change this one tag and replace the new link here. So something that used to take me all day now takes me about 5 minutes. And it's just an example of a way that you can continue to use ThingLink over and over and over. Once you create a resource, you can just update it and keep using it. Okay. Now, another great thing about ThingLink, and I already sort of mentioned this, is that you can share it, and you can share it across the web easily. Here's a picture of the screen that you see when you click the share button here. I'll go back to full screen. So here you'll see you can share it to social media very easily. This is that Facebook app that I was talking about, that you just click once and then it will make a ThingLink live on the page of your Facebook. You can copy the link here, and you can also copy the embed code, and you can paste it into anything that supports embedding. So in your teaching space, maybe that's Edmodo, maybe that's a web page, maybe that's a blog. You just copy this, paste it, and it goes in there. Now the beauty of that is when you update those resources, it automatically updates in your web space as well. And once it's in your web space, anybody who looks at it can click on the share button, and they can also embed it in their own web space. So one ThingLink image can go a long way. Now there is a remix feature that I want to show you here. This is a picture of a ThingLink that I created, and I was trying to demonstrate how to remix an image. When you're not logged into ThingLink and you're viewing someone else's image, you'll see this remix button on it. You can click the remix button, and what that does is it makes a copy in your own ThingLink dashboard. The original stays intact, but your copy includes all of the tags that are on there. So you as an educator probably want to customize it or personalize it. So again, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. You can just take off some tags and add your own tags. So it's really a great way for us all to work together, and that's part of what I do as the community manager, is I try to collect resources and share them with everybody so that we can all keep learning from each other. So if you think about it, if you have 3 fourth grade teachers in your district and you all want to do the same unit on the planets, but you all have different resources, a few different resources, one person can make it, everybody else can remix it, and everybody can benefit from that. So if you're thinking about working together as a team, that's really a great way to do it. Now, another thing is that ThingLink is cross-platform, and that's really good for this day and age when we have a variety of different devices. Some schools have one-to-one iPads, some schools have a mix, some schools have computers or laptops, but whatever device you're using, it can work on ThingLink because it's cross-platform and everything syncs up. So you could start in school on an iPad. The students could go home and keep working on their home computer, and if they didn't have that, they could even do it on their phone. You can use the web browser on the tablets and the mobile devices, so you just pull up Safari or Chrome and you can go ahead and access the desktop version of ThingLink. But what's really great, again, is that you can use whatever device is handy at the moment. Everything syncs up and you don't miss a beat, so you can keep working from across different devices. But we do have an app, and the app is really awesome as well. And if you are an iPad or a tablet district, I do encourage you to explore the app. The app is really great, and it has a few features that aren't available with the ThingLink web version. And one of those features is that, of course, it works without wireless. So if you want to take students outside and you want to do some learning, you can take a picture of something. Students can quickly add a tag in ThingLink. They can add a picture on top of a picture. They can add text. They can record video and add it right on the spot. So it really supports learning on the go. It also supports students who don't have wireless at home. In my school district, we take our iPads home, but not all kids have wireless. And this would be really perfect. They could start building their ThingLink without the wireless, come back to school, connect to the wireless, and then do all the parts that required a little more research and internet access. So honestly, this is really the best of both worlds because you can take it outside and capture learning on the go and go back in and tell your deeper story. And finally, there's Google Drive integration. And this is the most exciting thing for me because Google Drive and ThingLink are two of my favorite tools. And I'm really amazed at the difference the addition of Google Drive can make in designing a teaching activity. And so I will be actually showing you this activity Now I mentioned that this is a ThingLink channel, so we're going to click right now onto the actual activity that I created, the Amazon Rainforest. And I like to do this because now you can see the different buttons that are available on an image when it isn't in a channel. You'll notice that I can click on this post button. This post button is how I get this into a channel. So remember, a channel is just a collection of interactive images. So the only thing I have to do is I just add it to the channel. You can add it to multiple channels just by clicking. And now I have a slideshow. In this slideshow, I've just added this image. I really don't want it there, so I'm going to get rid of it before I forget. Now let me go full screen and I'll show you just a little bit about this amazing project. This is a ThingLink that I created for a lot of reasons, but mostly to show everybody how great it is to use Google Docs with ThingLink. At the top, you'll see the collage that I created here in ThingLink, for ThingLink, and then at the bottom is where I added the Google Docs. So this is all one big picture. That's something that everybody doesn't always understand. Every ThingLink starts with an image. So before I even get it into ThingLink, I have to create this image. The most amazing thing about this is I created the actual collage using Google Slides. And later, part of this project was for students to also create a collage. So I'm going to show you how you can learn how to do that as well. But you don't need any fancy tools here to create a nice collage like this. So the idea here was, this is how I introduced an ecosystems unit, and it's for 4th grade. Everybody always wanted to know that. It could be if you change the content or you change the questions, it could be for much higher level as well. But this was just for 4th graders, and it was designed to tap into their visual literacy. So the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted them to explore my images and just see what the Amazon rainforest was like. So as you can see, I have all kinds of different kinds of media. I have videos here about a banana tree, an article about sunlight. I have animal sounds, which is what the kids like the most. So you can hear the squirrel monkey there, and you can hear the jaguar. They honestly, in every class I've introduced this in, they have tried that first. But kids can get an idea here about the Amazon rainforest. Now, that's all great, except I have no idea what kids are going to learn by just clicking on the buttons and exploring. Really, they might learn what I want them to, or they might learn something else. And if you've ever taken kids to an interactive museum on a field trip, you realize that sometimes they just run through and click on the buttons. And this is sort of how it can be if you just have a ThingLink like this. So I think that it's really important to guide the learning. And you can do that in a lot of different ways. But when we introduced Google Docs, we got these amazing ways to guide the learning. So down at the bottom here, I start with, and you can see on my image, I just pasted little pictures here so that kids would be able to see what they were doing. That's not part of ThingLink. That was before I got it into ThingLink. So you can see that I have a Google document here, and it's published. And I typed an essential question: how does energy move through an ecosystem? And I wanted every student in the class to be able to answer that question, no matter if they were the top student in the class or if they were the lowest student in the class. I think everybody can answer that essential question. Now, the way I created it is I just typed it into a Google Doc, just very quickly. I published it, and then I added a link to ThingLink. And on the next slide, I'll show you exactly how to publish a Google Doc and how to make this work. So don't worry about that. Okay, now what I like about this is I could actually write this question on the board. I could give them a little handout, a worksheet with this question. But of course, if they go home and they want to do this activity in the 24/7 classroom, they need that paper. And someone like me loses every paper I ever get. So this really was, a deal breaker for me, that now kids could have the guide right next to here. They don't have to look anywhere else for this resource. It's there. Another thing I like about this, using these resources, is let's say I actually accidentally made a typo, or let's say I wanted to change my essential question. I could just quickly do that on my Google Doc, and it will automatically update here. So it's a really great way to provide students with the resources when they need them right there. And they don't get lost in the navigation because there's nowhere that they have to go. So that was my essential question. So you can see already now there's a different reason, and I'm going to be sure that students are going to try to answer that question. The way I'm sure about that is with my exit ticket. Now this is a Google form, and again, just like the one I showed you earlier, I can simply type in it. So what I wanted students to be able to do, among other things, is to be able to tell if it's a consumer, a producer, or a decomposer. So here they can go ahead and fill out the answers. And what kids said to me is, but Mrs. Oxnard, that's cheating. We can just look at the answers. And they were right. I don't want anybody to memorize these answers. I seriously just want them to learn this. So they can go back, they can watch the movie about the orchid, and they can figure out if it's a producer, a consumer, or producer, consumer, or decomposer. Those were the three choices. Now, again, let me remind you about that pause button, because everybody doesn't learn everything in the same manner. They can fast forward and they can pause through this video, but it's right on the page. I also have in my form some short answer questions. I don't just have these quick ones. You'll continue and go to the next page, and I'm asking them how they like the activity and at least one open-ended question. That's a little harder for me to grade when it comes into the form, but it provides them with the opportunity to really show me what they know and really dig into the learning. And they might have to watch one of these videos over and over and over again. But so there's the opportunities for success for everybody, because the answers are right there. Now, something that I forgot to mention is that this link here leads to a ThingLink video, and that's an interactive video about this Amazon rainforest that takes it real slow and gives an overview of the whole thing. So I would expect students to watch that as well when they're trying to find the answers. And here I have another example of the different reading levels. So these days we're calling it, instead of calling it beginning, middle, and advanced, we're calling them beginning readers, proficient readers, and advanced readers. So I changed the labels and just created some new icons. But that's really nice that kids, again, can self-select. Now this was my example, and just by creating it, I learned a whole lot about the Amazon rainforest. So I think it's important for you as teachers to also take the time to create an example for your students. I know that that's one of the things that many of the teachers I work with say they don't have time to do, and can I please do it for them? And I really can, but I know that if they create one themselves, they're going to realize just how powerful ThingLink is. My goal here is not to teach anything ahead of time. This is the first day of the Amazon Rainforest unit. Let's explore a rainforest. Once they have an idea about what a rainforest is, then we're going to move into the group project. And the group project is that I want all of the students to work in groups of 5, and they all have their own unique little jobs, and they're going to create a collage with ThingLink and annotate it about a different rainforest to show what they know. Now, when I talk about group projects, I know that oftentimes teachers want students to all do their own project. And the reason for that is sometimes they think that, everybody's not going to contribute equally. But here's my take on this. I've been doing this since way before we even had technology in my classroom. I think that kids have different learning styles and different talents and abilities, and everybody can contribute based on their learning styles. And everybody doesn't have to do the same thing. If they had a job, there would probably be a team working on this, and they'd all have different jobs based on their talents, and they could create something better than anybody on their own could create. So I add a piece of accountability here with these jobs. Now, this is a Google slide that is embedded. Google Slides. It's just a presentation. I'm not using it like a typical presentation. I use it to explain the jobs. So again, each kid can go back and review what they're supposed to do for their job, whether they're viewing it in the classroom or at home in the 24/7 classroom. So here are the jobs that I like to use. The copy editor is the one who is doing the writing. I used to have a researcher job, but now I think everybody needs to do the research. So the copy editor is going to find information about these specific things, and then they're going to publish it. And I have one somewhere that I can show you an example of a student I'm not quite sure where that is, but that's just, again, a Google Doc where they've written the text. So the copy editor is doing a lot of research, and this is the person who can handle the writing and the text. Now, I have another job, which is the graphic designer, and that's the person who has the job that I would want to have. They are the one who does research through images instead of through words. They find a picture of the rainforest that they're studying, and then they start searching for, producers in the rainforest, and they come up with more pictures, and they create this nice collage. So they're learning through pictures as well, and they're also having to do some reading, but they're deciding what pictures go on this, because they're very visual people. And then I have the multimedia engineer. Now this is the person who's going to find the videos. This is the kid in the group who doesn't have any background knowledge. And so their goal is to select appropriate videos to add to their group's project. As they watch the videos, they're going to learn about the topic. So in this case, it might be the Congo rainforest. So it's sort of a trick. It's a job that those struggling readers can actually handle and feel successful about, and really it helps them do the learning. If we're just going to have a lecture followed by a written paper, a lot of students can't be successful. But I'm here to tell you there were 9 struggling readers in the class that did this project. That was an overwhelming number of struggling readers, and they were all successful with the project as well. Now, another one that I have is the audio engineer, and that's somebody who's going to, that's a pretty differentiated job in itself, because you could just find sounds like I did, but then you have to figure out how to get them onto the ThingLink, so that takes a little technical expertise on their part. They could also find songs, they could compose songs, they could record the chorus singing a song from the Amazon rainforest. So there are a lot of possibilities with that one as well. And then finally, I have the project manager. And this is that kid who pulls it all together, just like the project manager in the real world would. He meets with everybody every day and finds out what they're doing. He has to sort of know how to do everything, provides assistance to students in the group who needs it. And he also, or she, I should say, also brings the questions that he can't answer to the teacher. And then the teacher meets with the project managers from every group every day to check in on the project and to find out how things are going. This is a great job for that kid who has, you really need to challenge, and the kid who kind of gets in trouble because they're not challenged, make them the project manager and put them to work. Now, that's just the way that I like to organize this project. But as you can see, here is the guideline that they follow. Now, by putting this resource, these are just step-by-step directions on how to actually create this collage. And by putting the resource on the collage, I make sure that students have everything they need to be successful. So when I walk around as the teacher, I can challenge them with questions. I can talk about what they're learning. I can clarify the content, and I can help them find resources. I can be a real teacher of content instead of being a tech teacher. And I know that's the downfall in a lot of these tech projects, because I am a tech coach and I see it every day. The more organized you are with your resources as a teacher, the more success the students will have, and the less they'll have to ask you about the technology, because you're content teachers, not technology teachers. So anyway, for those of you who are interested in creating this collage, you can do so, because you can just flip through this. Talks about how to do the research through the images, which is really powerful, how to create the collage, how to make it into a circle. And by the way, this is just a cropping tool in the Google Slides show. It's very cool and very underused. How to upload the collage to ThingLink, and how to add the tags. So step-by-step guide here that helps kids with some of those problems and helps them, find their own answers, which is really a 21st century skill. All of the information is out there, and they just need to find it. So finally, I have them turn it in. Now, there are a couple of different ways that I have them turn it in. One, I want to make a very nice channel here, or collection of their images on ecosystems. We'd include mine on the Amazon rainforest, and then we'd include all of the students' images, which are the rainforests were listed here. So we'd have a nice selection of rainforests, and here I just gave them some to choose from. So that would be a nice channel and a nice slideshow. I can embed it on my blog or put it in my teaching space. Everybody can look at it and learn about all the different rainforests. And there's a lot you can do with that content. You can compare and contrast the different rainforests. So by having that collection or that channel together, it's pretty powerful. But I also like to use an inbox, and that's a Google form as well. And I just thought I'd share that because this is always a very popular thing that I introduce to teachers. So this is a Google form that kids fill out, and honestly, you just have to make one, and it can be used for the entire year. And I have them copy and paste the link to their ThingLink project right in here. Then I'll get a spreadsheet on the other end. And as you know, a spreadsheet is sortable. So I can sort it by project title, and I can quickly click on the link and view the project. But what I really like about this is I can sort it by student name as well. So I can sort all of Susie's projects for the year. And we can sit down and say, well, here's how you've grown as a student. Here are some common errors you're making in all of your projects, and here are some great things. So you can, put all of their work together over time with just a click of a button if you use this sheet. I also give them the opportunity to tell me about the project. And usually they say, loved it, or sometimes they say, I kept losing my images, and they want to just tell me what problems they were having. So that's just a really great way to use ThingLink and Google Docs to power this project. Now, by putting kids into groups, and by making this the content, because they're learning, they're researching, and they're learning, and they're constructing knowledge as they create. This big project doesn't take very long at all. And so kids will be really engaged in this. And if you have a longer class period, they can get it done in, 1 or 2 class periods. But it doesn't take up too much time. Actually, it maximizes your instruction time. Now here's another project that I'd like to share with you. It's very similar in structure, but it's a whole different topic. So let's click out and look at this Montgomery Bus Project. So here again is an example that I've created to launch a different project, and I've also guided it by Google Docs. And you can see here I put a document to guide the learning and to explain the project. This one's a little more comprehensive than the last one. Talks about the project and working in groups. It gives the essential question, how and why did people struggle for social justice during the civil rights movement? And the idea is that students would work in groups to answer this question. And I go ahead and I give them the workflow and tell them, it's a whole guideline. You'll be working in cooperative groups. And I talk about the jobs and that there's a rubric. Now I'm going to end that Google document right there and then move on to step number 2. This time my icons are just the numbers because I wanted them to go step by step. So number 2, again, it's the same jobs slideshow. But what I wanted to mention here is by using Google Slides, I can easily change the jobs to adapt to the needs of my class or adapt to the project. I just change the slide. So that's why I like to have the jobs in a slideshow. So if I listed the jobs all on one Google document, I feel like they'd just go through that too quickly instead of just dedicating their time on their particular job. So I do like this format, but you've already seen that before, so we won't go over it again. Now, I talked about having a rubric, and here's where I would put the rubric, but it's not on there now because this is how I'm going to demonstrate how to publish a Google Doc. So let me go ahead and move over. Now, I've already made the rubric, sort of like a cooking show. I had to have that ready ahead of time. Let me go ahead to my rubric and show you what that looks like. So it's now going to open up in a new tab. And here is the rubric that I created already. And as you can see, it says adapt as needed. This is something anybody can use. I did borrow it from SAS in school, and I've credited my source here. And it is, since the Google Doc, it's editable, so I might edit it for a different project as well. But I just popped this into a Google Doc. Now here's the important thing. I want it to show up live on the ThingLink. I want it to embed on the page. So what you'd think you'd do is just go ahead and share it, because that's what we often do with our Google Docs. But that is not the way to get it to show up. It won't work that way. Only a published Google Doc will show up on a ThingLink. So you have to learn how to publish. Publishing is simple as can be. you just go to the File menu and you choose Publish to the Web. You get your choice of a link or an embed code, but with the ThingLink image, we care about the link. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy it once it's published. That's all I do. Now I'm going to go back into the ThingLink and I'm going to show you how to add the link right here to the rubric. So I just click on Edit and my tag editor opens up and I'm in editing mode now. You can see all of the ThingLinks that I've put on here. To add a new ThingLink, you just click anywhere on the page. So I want it to be right here, but I can also drag that around to wherever I want it to be. So that's really pretty convenient for if you're constructing knowledge as you create, you can just add the links anywhere and then organize them so they look a little more attractive. So now I have this black icon and that shows up because that's the last icon I've used. But I want to change the icon to the number 3. So I just click over here in my tag editor and I change the icon. You can see all of my icons. At the top are your custom icons, and I have an excessive amount because I love to make custom icons. But I'm going to move down here to the standard educational icons, and here are my numbers, so I'll just pick the number 3 and that changes right there. Now I need to get the Google Doc on there, and you might remember I just copied the link to the published Google Doc and I just pasted in here. Simple as can be, and it's going to show up. Okay, now I made one little mistake here and I forgot to change the margins on my rubric. I'd want to change the margins so I don't have this white space, and I can show you how to do that in a minute, but that change might take 5 or 10 minutes, so you might not see it here. So I hope I remember to do that. Now I can also put text in the box, and depending on what you're doing, you might want to. I don't think it's necessary for this, but it's necessary for a lot of the different things. So use this rubric to guide your learning, something like that. Now I just added the text. Like I said, it's really not necessary on this particular tag, but I wanted to show you all of the different options that we have here to customize it. This again is a premium feature. I can change the background color so it stands out more. Now my text doesn't really show up, so I want to change that. I could change the font color if I wanted. I think black works here. I can change the font size, and I'm going to make it extra, extra large so they see my directions. And then I can even change the font itself if I want to. So those are just some customization icons, customization options that are there as well. I'm going to save that tag, and now the rubric is on there. I did say I'd show you how to change the margin, so let's go back into the rubric. I just go to File and I go to Page Setup, and I just make them smaller. And I just learned this with experience. Now if you use a Google slide, you don't have to change the margins at all. But this just makes it display better. It's pretty easy. Now it moved all the way over here, so I am going to it's already going to show up. The changes will show up on the ThingLink, but like I said, it takes maybe 5 minutes or so to show up. But trust me, that works. Okay, so back to my image. Now I also want the students to take some notes as they're working in a group. So this just provides me with another opportunity to demonstrate again how easy it is to make a tag. So I've already started with, I have a note-taking document here. I'm just going to go ahead and open that up in a new tab. Now the most important thing to remember, and the mistake that I often see, is that people forget and they accidentally try to share it and copy that link. But we need to publish it. So again, you go to File and Publish to the Web, and you just click in the link box and you copy it, and then you go back to your ThingLink and you make your tag. Change the number to 4 because you'll always see the last tag that you've used. And I just paste it in. Okay, so now you see my Struggle for Justice notes, and you'll see how nicely it displays when I remember to change the margins like I did on this one, and this is just a place for students to take notes. I could also change the color again. It's going to choose purple because purple is the last color that I used, but I'm going to change this now to blue, so that helps give them a little visual prompting. and I'm going to save it. Now the last thing I want to do is put an exit ticket on here, because you might remember I was talking about if you just give kids a ThingLink, they're just going to explore it and they might not learn what you want them to learn. So I'm going to go ahead and add an exit ticket, and this is a Google form. It's even easier to add because you don't actually even have to publish it. There's no publishing of forms. So I'm going to go ahead to my exit ticket, and here I see the live form. Looks really nice here with the background, but that part won't show up on the ThingLink. And I'm in the viewing form, and if you know anything about Google Forms, you know nobody has to sign in to use them. So I just copy that link there, and then I'm going to go back to my ThingLink and I'm going to paste it in. So I tap to add my tag. I change the number to 5. I paste the link, and it's blue because that's the last color I chose. Now I think I want it to be red, and now the form is live, and I can go ahead and save it and save my image. And let's go ahead and take a look at what we just created. So the top part is my example, and this would be the student project, how they'd answer that question. How and why did people struggle for justice during the civil rights movement? And that shows up right here. And then here's just some examples of what they might do. Oh, here's the copywriter job. So here is a Google Doc that the copywriter has written to summarize the ideas behind the Montgomery bus boycott. I have sound here, which is really important because sound was so important to the civil rights movement. I have quotes because this was linking a common core skill that started with quotes. Can't remember which number that one is right now. I also have links to other resources, and then I have the videos, of course. And then at the bottom you can see what we just added. There's the rubric to guide the learning. Here is the note-taking document, and here is the exit ticket. So I think it's pretty easy. You can tell that it's pretty easy to create the ThingLink. It's the content. It's the constructing knowledge as you create where the learning comes in, and that's what we want our students to do. We don't want them spending a lot of time trying to figure out how to use a fancy technology tool. This is all about the learning. Now I'm going to click out of this and go back to my actual slideshow so I can show you the bigger picture and the bigger project that's here. Let me view it in full screen. So this is part of that project called Struggle for Justice, and this was my example to kick off the learning. But we're going to make this project really great by putting all of these different events that answer the question on a map called Civil Rights Hotspots. And so what I've done here, I'm going to demonstrate for you how to use a Google add-on to even further power the learning. So the Google add-on is called Mapping Sheets. I created this spreadsheet with information and then put it on a map. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So this is based on something that PBS series did called Citizen King, and it's all about what they call civil rights hotspots. And they've identified these different events that were going on during the civil rights era that were really important and significant. So I wanted my students to pull that project together. So that's why I gave the example of the Montgomery bus boycott, and then I created the ThingLink. But now on this map, I've gone ahead and I've created the map in Google Mapping Sheets, and then I've gone ahead and uploaded it to ThingLink, and I've added all these tags here. And you're going to see that each of these tags has a place. Each of the students' projects have a place on the map. So when all the students are done creating their projects, we have this really great interactive map with all of these deeper stories about each of the different events. So let me go back now to the mapping sheets and explain that part of it. So here is my spreadsheet, and this is just what I created to go ahead, and it's the data for the map. So I have events here based on city, state, and country. Those are the topics that are going to work for this particular map. So there was an event in Topeka, Kansas. That was, of course, Brown versus Board of Education. And this is the research that I did as I designed this project as a teacher. I found these spots and I created this little map. Now, the only thing I have to do now is select it and start mapping. You might have to change your column titles, but mine lined up nicely, probably because I've already made the map. Once you're done with that, you just go ahead and build it. And it'll take a few minutes. We're not going to really wait for that, but when we're done, we click View and we get our map. I just took a snapshot of the map and then uploaded it to ThingLink. And now I'll show you the live version of the map with several of the projects on it already. So once the map was created with mapping sheets, it looks like this. It just pinpoints all those locations very beautifully. Upload it to ThingLink and then you're ready to edit it. So you just edit it and you choose one of the tags and one of the events and you add it. So here you can see I've just given kids a starting point. Black Panther leader killed in Chicago, Illinois, and then this is how they would start building their ThingLink project, just like the Montgomery Bus Project. And I've got that one here, and I've also got a few more to show you. So you just copy the link that you saw that's for sharing the ThingLink, and then you create the tag like I demonstrated earlier. You paste right into that box the finished ThingLink product. And this is an example of the one I just showed you. And then when we click on it, we can come to the live project. So this creates a really nice collection on a map of all of these different events for the civil rights hotspots. Now here you can see another one, and this is Central High School, Little Rock, Arkansas, and I'll show you that project next. So this is another example of a student project, and this is, you could see it, the small version on the map, and when we clicked out we can come to this version. And this is all about Central High School in Little Rock and the Little Rock Nine. And this is a very famous photograph of two women, Elizabeth Eckford and Hazel Bryant. And when I started to create this, I learned so much more about these two women than I knew. I'd seen the picture many, many times in my life, but creating this helped me construct knowledge as I learned, and that's what we're wanting our students to do. So students would finish up this project. This is an incomplete project. This is just something that I'm just creating now, but it includes video, the book trailer that tells the deeper story of these women, and the background story of why Elizabeth is walking by herself and why Hazel is screaming, and just tells a lot more. A deeper story can be told, and your students can learn by creating and doing this project. And here's the project again. I also have this one, Brown versus Board of Education, and this is just another way. I think I have that on the next slide. Here it is. This just looks completely different. Just goes to show you that students can use their creativity. Obviously, this was a higher level student who was able to put all of these different apps together to create this project, but still they learned so much about Brown versus Board of Education with all of these resources here, articles and different reading levels. So lots and lots to be learned here by doing a project like this. This could kind of take you through the whole civil rights movement, and instead of doing it in a traditional way, they can do it this way. There are also opportunities, I should mention, when you have the whole project together like this. There are lots of opportunities for learning and putting all the pieces together in a whole. I really don't think you only want students to learn one thing about the civil rights movement. You want them to learn from each other's projects as well. So you can then create a lesson that has them put them all together, compare the events or put them in order, why did this happen, cause and effect sort of thing. But you're creating your own resources here, which is really more powerful than reading about them in a book for sure. Now I'd like to switch gears entirely here. I give you lots of examples of ways to use a ThingLink image, and I really do suggest that you start out by creating something simple so that you can see how easy it is to use the tool, and then you put your teaching projects into play by creating examples for students, and then your mind will go crazy. Here is something totally different. It's ThingLink Video in Google Docs, and this is really truly powerful as well. It's just a little different, so I want to make sure that we take a look at it. Just as ThingLink images start with an image, ThingLink Video starts with a video. And it's very easy to add a video to ThingLink. You just go to YouTube. That's the easiest way, and you copy the link, the share link from YouTube, and you paste it into ThingLink so that you can create this video. If YouTube is blocked in your school district, then you can also upload your own video as well if you have the premium version. Now, before I show you how to create a ThingLink video, I just want to show you the power and what it can do. So I'm going to go ahead and play it for you. Again, you're not going to hear the sound. Now, I should mention that when you're actually using a ThingLink video as a student or as a teacher in front of the whole class, you don't have to hit the pause button. What happens is the video plays, and then tags that you've added to annotate the video and turn it into your own lesson just pop up on the screen. And to explore them, you just click on them and then you'll see what happens. But basically, you could just have the questions go across the screen as well to guide the learning. That's at the most basic level, but I'm here to show you how to embed a Google Doc in a ThingLink video. So this one, Show What You Know, they click on it and then they get the form that they have to fill out. And I really like this form, and I do this with a lot of the work that I do because it gets them thinking about the terms. I want them to really focus on the vocabulary because I think it's important here. So before they watch the video, they tell me what they know about these vocabulary words. I have no clue, I've heard of it, I can use it, I can explain it. This gets them listening for the words, and at the end of the video, guess what? They're going to see these words again. So hopefully, I'm sure everybody can't explain all the terms, but hopefully they can move up the ladder here a little bit, and then they just go ahead and submit it, and then they go back to their video. And I'm going to push play again, and you'll see another tag. This is a very short video.
It happens because
there. So what causes the Earth's continents to move? Now this is not a Google Doc. Anything that you can embed anything in a ThingLink video that has an embed code. So you have to choose a tool that allows embedding, and then you can put it in. And here I put a video inside of a video, which is really cool because my video goes so fast, and I felt like kids needed to take a closer look at how this all started with the Pangea. So this is about a 20-second video in video that's less than a minute. When I'm done, I just go back to the video. Now, I'm not going to play the whole video for you. I just want to show you something here. Okay. These tags are the tags that I've added. So every time I click here, you can come to a tag. This one is sort of cool. I thought that they needed to know a little more about the Earth's crust. So when you click on this tag, you actually come to a ThingLink that's embedded in a video. This is interactive as well. And that could be a picture too. So if we keep moving, I'm going to not play it right now. I'm just going to click on the tags. We also have plankton, and he mentions plankton, and he has a Scottish accent, so it's really hard to understand him, and that was one of the vocabulary words. So I want them to stop and take a look at what plankton looks like. Then I go back to the video. Then at the end, of course, I have the exit ticket, which is pretty similar to what I gave them to start with. And again, it has the same vocabulary where I'm looking for them to move up on the scale. And then it's got a few more questions. It's got a multiple choice question and then some short answer questions, which are really important, I think, too. So that's how you do that. Now let me show you how you would add a ThingLink video. So I'm going to go back to the beginning here to the first tag, and I'm just going to kind of unpack it. So to edit ThingLink video, you go right here. Click the little pencil icon. These are all of your tags that are in place. I can add a new tag by clicking here, and then I can put the URL or embed code and put the text on, and I can change the icon. But I'm not going to do that right now because we are running out of time, so I'm just going to rebuild a tag that I already have. But I want to mention to you that when you add a tag, it stays where you put it. That's very different than the ThingLink image where you can keep moving the tag around. So know where you want your tag, stop the video, and then add a tag there. So that's just a little important tip here. If not, you have to rebuild it. So I wanted to show you the exit ticket. So here is what that tag looks like. I'm going to unpack it for a minute. I'm going to copy that, and then I'll show you how we actually do that. So when I start, I add my tag, and I can add a different icon if I want. All of my custom icons show up, and then there are some other icons that are here for ThingLink Video too. So you notice that I had the ticket icon, so I'm just going to go ahead and keep it the ticket. Now I can change the timing. This is how long it will show up on the screen. This is kind of an important trick because you don't want too many tags flying across the screen at the same time. You want them to last an appropriate time. So you can choose 5 seconds, try it, you can always change it. Now here, this is a little different than ThingLink as well. It says the URL or embed code. Remember, in ThingLink you're always copying just the link to something. But in this case now, we have to find the embed code, and that looks a little different. That looks like this. It's longer. I like to call it garbly goop, but a lot of tools like Google Docs will give you the embed code. In fact, the embed code for Google Docs is on, I should show you that. It's exactly when you publish. So let me go back to this Google Doc, and when I go to File, Publish to the Web, I now can grab the embed code here. That's the embed code. That's what you pop into ThingLink Video, and just the link is what you pop into ThingLink. So moving back to our video, you can add some text. So that's where it says exit ticket required. That's what flashes up on the screen. And I can change the color, which is really important too, so it shows up on the video. I really like the green, but I can change it to any color I want. And it'll change pretty quickly. I'm going to put it back on the green because I like to use that video. I can change the text color, and I can change the font as well. And I can also have the pop-up as well. So there are many choices here for customizing these tags, but really the one thing you need to know about is change the icon here, definitely change the timing, and this is the URL embed, this is the embed code instead of the URL. Now the most common mistake I've seen, and I see it almost every time I work with teachers on this, is they copy just the regular link in. And if that happens, it'll work. But when you click on the link, you leave the actual video, so it's not embedded in it. That's nice, that's great, but it's way more powerful to embed the video in it. So I just save it, and these are all my different tags. I can add a tag at any place in the movie just by jumping there. Add a new tag. I have the embed code again for what I just did. Change it and save it, and then I just added a new tag. Now I don't want that tag, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. I think that's this one. Doesn't make much sense. So I can go ahead and delete this tag as well by going to Edit here. That was the edit for the Google Doc, and just throwing it away. And I save it. And just like you can embed ThingLink in a website or your teaching space, when you push the play button, you get the embed code here. Oops, that's the full screen, sorry. You get the share code right here. That looks a little bit like YouTube. And here's how you'd share it, and you can also share it to social media. I just want to mention that there are lots of possibilities for ThingLink for video. Well, hopefully, the examples I've shared here tonight have given you a lot of ideas and inspired you with ways to transform teaching and learning in your classroom. And now, I'd like to spend a few minutes sharing the different kinds of accounts so you can find the account that's right for you. So this last section will help you build your ThingLink classroom. Now the most important thing is to make sure, if you're a teacher, you have an education account. When you sign up for a ThingLink account, currently you're forced to select the teacher option. So you will automatically get a teacher account. But if you already signed up for an account, you may have just signed up for a regular ThingLink account, and you definitely want to make sure that you have an education account. The way to tell is to look in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, and you'll see either ThingLink Teacher or ThingLink EDU Premium label. If you don't see those, you'll need to convert your account. Now the ThingLink education accounts were designed specifically for teachers and students, so you absolutely want to make sure that you have an education account. In this type of account, you can see all of your students' work in one place. There are many amazing teacher features here, but one of my favorite features is that teachers can add tags to students' images. That provides you with great opportunities to provide feedback to students as they're creating work. You can actually have conversations, and then later when the students have reacted to the feedback, you can delete those tags. If you don't see an Edu icon in the upper left-hand corner, you want to make sure that you convert your regular account to a teacher account. So on this slide, this is actually a ThingLink video, and it's an interactive tutorial that will show you exactly how to follow the steps to turn your regular account to a teacher account. So one of the reasons you want the teacher account is you can create student groups. So you can, everyone will automatically get a classroom group, so when your students join, they're in your group. The free account allows you to have one student group, just one basic classroom group. But the Edu Premium account, you can have multiple groups. I believe you can have 30 different groups. So with this account, you might create a group for math. You might create a group for high-level readers. You might create a group for your Struggle for Justice project. There are lots of possibilities when you have the ability to create multiple groups. Now, students can join multiple groups. So if you are a middle school teacher or a high school teacher, or you switch students for different class periods, your students can join all of the teacher groups. And the great thing about this is that students can seamlessly join your groups with an invite code. So they just copy and paste the invite code when they sign up, and then they're a member of your group. If students already have an account, they can join any group at any time. Now, a great thing about having student groups is you can create class channels. And in this image here, I'm just showing a few different types of channels that you can create. But a class channel, again, is just a collection of interactive images that are easily strung together with a click of a button, and it turns into a slideshow like you see here tonight. The beauty of this is that students can add their own images to the slideshow, so there's no extra work for the teachers. Teachers can also create a channel to launch a project. One way to use this is to create a ThingLink and then allow students to remix it and then add it to the channel. When you start using ThingLink, you'll come up with many different reasons to create channels. One of the favorite things I like to do, though, is to have students create their own portfolio channel. And this can be a collection of student work that they build over time, and it can include feedback, and students can set goals, and they can reflect on their learning. Now, the portfolios can be a collection of ThingLinks, but it can also be a collection of any piece of student work. Students can quickly take a picture of the work, and then they can upload it to ThingLink and add tags for self-reflection. Teachers can add tags for feedback, and then they can set goals. I think a ThingLink portfolio is an extremely powerful tool. And this is an example of seamless tech integration because it's so easy for students just to add a tag that they don't have to really think about the technology and they can focus on their own learning. Now, we do have accounts for your district or for your school, and I really think that's the way to go. This is the best and quickest way to get all of your teachers and students and staff on board. If you're interested in a ThingLink for your district account, that's all you have to do is send a request to support@thinglink.com, and in exchange you'll get a code for administrators. The administrators then share a code with teachers, and then the teachers share a specific code with students. You can get a district or school account for free, which has the basic free features, or you can get an Edu Premium account for everyone, so everybody in your district has access to all of the greatest features. You can also start with a free account and then upgrade it very easily. Now, about the pricing. A premium teacher account costs $35 per year, and again, that's for one teacher and up to 100 students, and the teacher and the students all get the premium features. And what's really nice about that is teachers can share their custom icons with students. And the premium account for a district is about $1 per student. And we can work with you if you're a larger district. So that's all you have to do is contact support@thinglink.com and we'll find something that works for you. And we'd also like to offer some demos for districts that are interested in getting a district or a school account. We'd be happy to do that, and we'd create a customized demo with you and just help you see why you need ThingLink for your account. We'd also give you access to the microphone so you could ask questions, and it would be an informal but really educational demo. And there's a form on the ThingLink website to request a demo. And I also have a form at the bottom of most of my blog posts. And if you can't find that form and you just want a demo, please just email me, susan@thinglink.com, and I'll be happy to set that up for you. So here is a display that's right on the website, and it just talks about the different premium accounts, premium for a teacher and premium for your school. And it's got some of the features listed down here. What's really nice also is that all premium accounts allow teachers and students to create custom icons. And you can also publish a slideshow channel. With our free account, you can create channels, but you can only publish them on your blog with the free account. You can also view those in full screen with the premium account. And you can replace background images, and I did show you that earlier. That's a very handy feature, so you don't have to start all over again. And you can upload an image on a tag, which is very nice too. So there are a lot of great reasons to go with ThingLink Premium, and if you choose to do that for your school, you can onboard everybody really quickly and get everybody working together and collaborating. So teachers can create resources that are shared. If you have a few different teachers working at the same grade level, they can split the tasks of creating different ThingLinks, and then again they can remix them and customize them for their own use. And finally, as a thank you to everyone participating in this webinar, I'd like to offer you my discount code. So that'll give you 20% off the teacher account. So while it's normally $35, if you put in this code, SusanTLEDU, you'll get a discount. And this is what the payment summary form looks like, and you just pop it right in, and you can see that it'll go from the $35 to $28, which is really a great deal. So I'd like to thank everybody for attending this webinar, and I hope you've found some ways that have inspired you to transform teaching and learning with ThingLink EDU. Happy tagging and good night.